one of the things that I always ask myself when people get into debates like that are, does it matter? Does it matter? Is there a faith question at stake? Is it, suppose this were the answer, suppose that were the answer. Does it really matter? That happens for me with groups doing the Jonah story. And everybody gets caught up on whether there is literally a fish big enough to swallow a person, whether a person can live inside any kind of fish and then get thrown up on a beach days later. And there are people looking through their fish textbooks to find, yes, this one could. But when you apply the does it matter question, in my book, if God wanted Jonah to be swallowed by a goldfish, then God can work that out, because that's how you get to be God. It's part of the, it's part of the job description that you can pull these kinds of things off when regular people can't. So we don't have to. In my mind, that's just sort of a wasted debate. Whether it did happen or it didn't happen is not the point of the book. And there's the question in there, which is a very important one about, what truths do you find? Truth in the very big sense. The first volume of this series especially spends a lot of time on really helping us think about the difference between truth and facts. All facts are truth, but truth is much bigger than fact. Truths, Aesop's fables are true and never happened. Jesus' parables teach us truths, but they're made up. It drove me crazy going to the Holy Land and going from Jerusalem down to Jericho and having the tour guide say, up on top there is the inn where the Good Samaritan took the... I'm like, no, that was a parable. It was a story. There might be an inn up there. It would be a good place for an inn. Injured people might have well been taken there. But it is not the place where the Good Samaritan, because that was a made-up story. That was a parable told to teach truth. And that recognize, again, for us in the 21st century, we want just the facts, ma'am. We want to know, did it happen? Did it not happen? And we fight about those things when the truth of Scripture is so far beyond that. We often miss the truth that a given passage or story is trying to teach us because we're all hung up on whether it happened. And so a lot in the first volume is really trying to expand our thinking of what it means to say something is true. For millennia, truth was taught through myth and story. That was how truth was transmitted. The notion that truth could only be factual is very, very recent. So anyway, that's free sermon. I'm one of those tangent people. Let's go back here on the right-hand side.